Hello, so I know I have not uploaded in a while, which is something I am going to try and remedy. I had actually made a video at the end of the summer to describe some experiences, but today we are going to review Season 1 of the TV series The Wheel of Time, one of my favorite fantasy series. As you can see, my family owns all the books, and here I have displayed the first one, which of course was the basis for the first season. So, we are going to review the plot and the characters and, setting and story details, how they adapted that. So, yeah, let's just dive right into it. So, as for the plot, I'd say they actually did a fairly decent job in 8 episodes capturing as much of the plot as they could, and they were able to cleverly combine some things. They had to cut some things, and yes, this is a full spoiler one, so watch at your own risk. There was a lot to unpack. But they managed to get the bad guys pretty good. That is the Trollocs and the Myrddraal. They succeeded in being rather brutish yet overpowering, which is like the goblins in the Lord of the Rings I could defeat with my pinky finger. But if I were to face off with just one of those Trollocs, I would be cut down pretty quickly. Because I mean, those things are like so overpowered, man. Yeah, and I always thought the Myrddraal was like a cross between a Nazgul and a Dementor, except killable, and I think they did a good job with that. Of course, haven't really gotten a chance to kill very many Myrddraal, which is not surprising. They are hard to engage, let alone defeat. So that's good, and yes, here, let's see, there is a Myrddraal that is actually a Lego Nazgul Lord of the Rings, but it represents it. I think they are pretty close resemblance. I just would need like a Dementor face on the thing, but that's close enough. And so for the good guy characters, they managed to get a lot of them in. I mean, some of the side minor characters we don't really care about, so that's fine. But I liked their portrayals of them for the most part. I think all the actors brought as best of an acting game as they could to it. I know that some of them, they had like uneven progress reading the books. I remember reading the guy playing Rand, Joshua Stradowski, was like through book 11 at one point, and the guy who played Matter Perrin was either like a little ahead of him. But yeah, so they all had to do the research on the characters and do their best to portray them. Fleshing them out can be difficult in such a short time span and with limited abilities of dialogue and filming, but I think, let's see, they really played up Matt as like having a darker side, which was interesting. He's more funny in the books throughout, and Perrin too. With the whole violence thing, which I read about in an article they were going to try and play up about making up a fake wife for the first episode. Because I say fake because she wasn't in the book, but to try and develop this aspect of his character. That was interesting. I wish they had spent some more dialogue with Geofram Bornhold, although I mean he's a side character and he's going to die in the Great Hunt, but he was presumably the gold armor-plated white cloak in the second episode, I believe, when Valda questioned them on the road. So we hopefully will see him, and he'll have a noble death against the Seanchan. Yes, I'll get back to them later. But yeah, that was one thing. I was expecting the near fatal encounter. It's not going to be fatal. Valda does not die that early in the series, but where Egwene actually stabbed him in like the shoulder near the neck. I was not seeing that coming, but he'll be back, I'm sure. They managed to, at the end, with the Eye of the World, it was interesting, but I wish they had found a way to include the Green Man. What they did was actually kind of more like foreshadowing what happens in Book 14. When Rand finally confronts the Dark One, and it's like all the lives that you could have lived. That's kind of just one scenario here, but that's kind of what they did in the series finale. Excuse me, season finale. Don't jinx it. Yeah. So that was an interesting take on it, but it's possible they should have adapted a bit differently. I don't really care if they had to cut Agnor and Balthamel, their side Forsaken, but they had better figure out a way to include some more of the Forsaken and reveal that that was in fact Ishamael and not the Dark One, which is what is supposed to be. They at least got to show a snippet from the Age of Legends in that last episode, so that was nice. With, the flying stuff and futuristic-ish society. Yeah, it was alright. I think the portrayal of the Blight was also neat, although I would have preferred some variation to the landscape, and hopefully they'll have Shaiol Ghul, but they've not even mentioned it once during the entire journey, so I don't know, because if the Eye of the World is like the actual Dark One prison ish thing, which it can't really be, it was like a foreshadowing, but it was like they were going to the boss level stuff right away, kind of, and they should delay it a bit more, I think. Hopefully they're not messing with Loyal, as many fans are hoping, because if he's like injured and stuff, I'm sure that's fine, but you can't get rid of him. He's kind of important to the series, so they better not be doing that. And those lovely Seanchan at the end. Yeah, I thought that was a good enough portrayal of them and a good enough precursor to what they will be like. There will be many important interactions with the Seanchan in the series, as any of the book readers know. So we will see how things play out and how the band gets back together, especially with Matt now that he's been recast and he's going down a little different path from the books. But as my mom sometimes jokes with us, they split up like Scooby-Doo in the books, and they spend the whole books trying to find each other again, which is sort of true, yeah. So we'll see how all that goes. And so one thing before we go about the portrayal of the Aes Sedai and the Warders, I actually thought they did something better than in the books regarding that, and that is that they humanized the Aes Sedai and the Warders. Because in the books, Lan is like all tough and brooding, stone-faced, and even in the later books, he kinda rarely shows much strong emotions unless he's with Nynaeve, but and Moiraine too, with the hard to read sometimes in the books, but in the series they were actually more expressive and more human than they were in the books, and I actually liked that, especially with what happened in episode 5. That was a much better, more human portrayal of the Warders and Aes Sedai than the books actually convey at some point. So for Rosamond Pike, who I actually first saw in Die Another Day, the old James Bond movie, which actually came out the year I was born. Yeah, I first saw her in that, so I'll give her a props for her performance of Moraine. And that's Lego Arwen, of course, but yeah, go figure. And here is Lego Aragorn, and whoops, can't get him to stand. Yeah. So there you go. I think they did a good job with their performances. I was pleased with it. So I'm looking forward to where this second season goes. To bring everybody back together to face Deshaun Chen and all the other enemies along the way. Hopefully introduce some more Forsaken. I'm sure I will review the second season too. And I mean, I don't have the equipment or know-how to do like the episode reactions, streams, and reviews and all that. So that's why I do videos like this, and I also not wanting to share my identity explicitly at this point. So yeah, but perhaps it'll change in the future. We'll see. But anyways, that's some of my thoughts on the first season of The Wheel of Time. I wish they could have had even more than 8 episodes, but they did all right. And yeah, we'll get to see more locations, I presume, in the next season. It'll be interesting, and maybe Rand and Egwene will have to kind of split up over time, because they were intimate in this first season, so that is not true, especially later in the series. So they'll have to see how to split them up over time, I suppose, and hopefully introduce, Faile. And Tuon comes in late in the series anyways, but we'll see if they introduce Tuon or Ahem for Tuona, not to disrespect her, the Empress. So that's what's up, and y'all have a good day.